Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Alexa, and today we are going to be talking about my Kindle Colorsoft. It has been 6 months since I got this device, and so I kind of just wanted to share my thoughts and experience with it now that I've been using it for a prolonged period of time. So I thought I would just sit down and share everything with you guys. So let's go ahead and dive in. So if you don't have an e-reader, I guess you might be wondering what the purpose is when I have this many books sitting behind me. I suppose it depends on the person, but there are various different reasons and uses for an e-reader. So I think one of the most common uses for an e-reader would be travel. If you have packed your backpack for a trip and carried it around an airport or on a train or walking for a prolonged period of time, you know how heavy a bag of books can get. So bringing an e-reader with you literally takes the weight off of your shoulders. And I guess additionally, commuting could also fall into this category of using an e-reader while you're traveling on the go. Because again, carrying books around with you while you are trying to catch a train, getting on and off of the bus, things like that, it can just be a little bit annoying. But trains and buses are amazing places to read, so it is super nice to have something with you that you can read on without the hassle of having to mark your page or the book getting messed up or damaged inside of your bag. Additionally, if it's nighttime, it might be more difficult to read a book while you are commuting. I think another reason that people love e-readers are for cozy nights. I think there are probably a lot of people out there who sleep next to a partner at night, and that person wants to turn off the light and go to bed, but the other person wants to stay up and read. The Kindle is a great way to read without having a book light or a lamp or overhead light on. You're able to turn the brightness to virtually nothing and still see it in the dark, and the person next to you can sleep soundly. And one more use for the Kindle that I want to highlight that maybe you haven't thought of is anybody who prefers a more minimalistic lifestyle. I feel like in the book community, it's pretty common for people to have bookshelves full of books, but not everybody wants that or has the space for that. So again, an e-reader is a great option for that. I think my personal favorite use for an e-reader is reading chunky books. I, for whatever reason, get super intimidated by large books, but when I am just reading the book and getting engrossed in the story and not worrying about how long it is, I genuinely forget how long it is and have a much easier time just reading the book and not focusing on the length of it. I know some people might want to make fun of me for not wanting to read long books, but it is intimidating, especially since I'm more used to reading books in the 200 to 400 page range. When I'm used to reading a book this size is definitely going to intimidate me. So being able to read something like that on an e-reader makes it a much better experience for me personally. Obviously, everybody's different, and some people like picking up chunky books and reading them. So yeah, if you thought e-readers were pointless, maybe now you have a little bit of a better idea as to why people would want one. So there are a lot of e-readers out there, but as for the Kindle specifically, this is the first Kindle that has color available on it. This was released in October of 2024, and I got it for my birthday, which is at the beginning of November. And at the time that I'm filming this, it's the beginning of May. So yeah, I've been reading on it pretty much for exactly 6 months now. So obviously the main selling point of this e-reader is that it has color on it. Additionally, since this is one of the newer Kindle models, it's obviously going to have the most up-to-date technology and software that are available for Kindles. I actually have a video up on my channel that compares all of the Kindles that came out for 2025. So if you want to see all of the specifics for each Kindle compared. I will link that video in the description for you to check out. It has all of the stats and specific information for each Kindle compared. But yeah, in addition to the books being in color, you are also able to highlight in different colors now. You are able to highlight in yellow, pink, blue, and orange, which if you are super into highlighting and annotating your books on an e-reader, this is obviously a super fun feature to have. I will also say that the battery life on this Kindle Colorsoft is insane. So if you didn't know, the Kindle Colorsoft is $279.99. That is in US dollars. So it is definitely on the pricier side when it comes to Kindles, but you're also getting something that none of the other Kindles have. So again, in my other Kindle comparison video, I have all of the Kindles next to each other so that you can compare the brightness and the speed and the color, different things like that. So if you want to see that, again, that video is linked in the description. So I guess I'll go over the pros and cons of my experience with my Kindle Colorsoft over the last 6 months. So obviously my first pro is the color. I think it's so fun, and it's honestly just something that brings me a lot of joy personally. I know not everybody is going to feel the same way that I do, but like I said, I think it's just so fun to finally be able to see book covers in color on a Kindle, but still have that soft, glare-free Kindle reading experience. I just love the display and the way that the home screen looks. And kind of piggybacking off of that, another pro of the Kindle Colorsoft is that if you read any books with illustrations or maps or color photos, you are obviously able to see those in color on the Kindle Colorsoft. So in addition to having color for aesthetics, it also enhances your reading experience by being able to see the book the way that it was intended to be seen. I'm not somebody who reads comics, and I only read a couple of graphic novels a year, so that is not something that I do very often on a Kindle. But if you do like reading those genres, obviously, again, like I said, they are going to be in color, and your reading experience on the e-reader is going to be greatly enhanced. Now, I already kind of went over this earlier, but another pro of the Kindle Colorsoft is that it is one of the newer e-readers. So like I said, it's going to have the latest updates, the latest software, latest technology, all of that kind of stuff. Before I got this Kindle Colorsoft for my birthday last year, I had one of my mom's old Kindles, and I genuinely don't even know what year it was from. It was super old. It lagged so much. It was so slow. The display was so underwhelming, and it got to a point where it was just not fun to read on. So it was also just really nice to get an upgrade. I also mentioned this earlier, but again, the battery life on this is amazing. I have only charged this a couple of times in my 6 months of using it, and that is not to say that I haven't been using it very much, because I very much have been. So the battery life on this is definitely a pro in my opinion. Another pro of the Kindle Colorsoft is that it is so user-friendly and easy to set up. Personally, I am somebody who hates building new furniture, hates setting up new devices, hates anything that involves long page of instructions on how to do something. Setting up my Kindle took maybe 10 minutes. It was so fast, so easy, so simple. If you had a Kindle before, you were able to easily transfer all of the data from that one onto your new one. And if not, obviously, it would probably be even simpler to set up. So yeah, and then my final pro that I have to talk about is just the overall convenience and ability to read faster, and I guess, like I said earlier, without intimidation. I know not everybody can do this, but I frequently read in the car, obviously while I'm the passenger, not the driver. But it's so simple to just pull my Kindle out of my bag. It's immediately on the page that I left off on. I don't have to worry about bringing around a book light with me, making sure it's charged, clipping it onto the page, anything like that. It just makes reading on the go so easy and simple and convenient. And something else really cool that the Kindle does is that it basically calculates your reading speed, and it will tell you how long you have left in a chapter or left in the book that you're currently reading. I don't know why seeing that makes me read so much faster, but it genuinely does. Also, being able to adjust the font size to however big or however small you want, whatever type of font you want, if you want the page in black or white, you can basically optimize the Kindle to read the fastest that you possibly can. So in a lot of ways, I find that I do read faster on my Kindle because it is completely optimized for me to read the fastest that I possibly can. Not that reading is about speed at all, but as somebody who wants to get through more books than I can probably get through in a lifetime, that's something that's a pro to me. Obviously, to each their own, but that's just my personal experience. Now on to the cons of the Kindle Colorsoft. Obviously, my number one con is going to be the price. I was lucky enough to receive this as a birthday gift, so I guess it's not really a con for me personally, but it is the most expensive Kindle out there. So that's obviously something that anybody is going to take into consideration when buying a piece of technology. So for me personally, even if this wasn't a gift, this would be worth it to me because reading is one of my biggest passions and a way that I spend a lot of my free time. So it's something that I enjoy and brings me happiness, but not everybody is going to feel that way. For example, I am somebody who does not enjoy driving and doesn't really care about new cars or anything to do with cars really. But there are people out there who love getting new cars, who love driving, who love having all of the latest technology related to cars. That's going to be an investment that's worth it to them. But to me personally, that is not something I am interested in spending my money on whatsoever. So, you know, it's going to be worth it for some people and it's not going to be worth it for some people. And both are completely valid. The next con I'm going to talk about is the yellow band that people were apparently seeing on their Kindle Colorsofts when they first received them. I don't know if it's completely fixed now, but when the Kindle Colorsofts were first coming out, a lot of people were receiving devices that had some kind of yellow band along the bottom of the display. If it's there, I genuinely don't see it. I'm not being paid by anybody to make this video or say anything that I'm saying in this video, so I'm being completely honest and genuine when I say that if there is a yellow band on this Kindle, I do not see it. So I have to say that it's not really a con for me personally, but I know that some people did receive Kindles that had more of a dramatic yellow band on it. I'll insert a picture if I can find an example of one. But I'm sure if you ended up getting a device that has this issue, you would be able to resolve that with Amazon customer service. And my last con for the Kindle Colorsoft is that Amazon recently updated their policy on ebooks that you purchase through Amazon. I honestly haven't read through the intricacies of it, but based on what I've seen online, I believe you can no longer download the book file and like physically have it stored somewhere on your computer or whatever. Again, this is not really a con that applies to me because I have actually never purchased an ebook from Amazon. I read all of my ebooks either through Libby, which is a free app that is linked to your library, or Amazon Prime Reading, which are books that are free for anybody who has an Amazon Prime membership, or through my mom's Kindle Unlimited subscription because I am attached to her Amazon account. So if that's a concern for you, it is completely possible to have an e-reader and not purchase a single ebook. I'm sure there are many other apps and ways to get free books as well. Those are just the ways that I do it. So yeah, all in all, 6 months later, I am still loving my Kindle Colorsoft after all of the hype has died down. But like I kind of mentioned earlier, this is definitely more of a premium e-reader and it's not going to fit the budget or lifestyle or needs of everybody, but it will for some people. So if it sounds like something that you are interested in, I will link it and all of my accessories down in the description if you guys want to check any of that out. But for now, that is all. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure to give it a thumbs up and and leave a comment down below letting me know anything you want to let me know. Also, feel free to follow me on Instagram and Goodreads. They are always linked in the description below. And make sure that you are subscribed so that you can see more videos from me in the future. But for now, that is all, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye. On my Kindle because oh my gosh, ebooks. Unfortunately, I think I said obviously about 40 times in this video. Wait, am I still? Oh, I'm still recording.